Hey, welcome to Yo, That's Weird. What's up? It's me, Sonia Z, and my fabulous guest, the wonderful, hilarious Blake Wexler.
Thank you, Sonia. I'm 33. We just went over our ages, and I am 33, and it's good to be here at the age of 33. Hello, everyone.
And I've seen 27-year-olds that look twice your age. So,
Thank you. I'll take it.
to be fair, how are we doing? How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I thought you were going to say, yes, Blake, you're 33, and I've been there for 27 of those years. I'm like, I don't know if that we've known each other for a little bit, but I don't know if it's been for 27 years, but I'll take
Yeah,
it.
it's probably close to 10, I feel like maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah. What have you been up to in your world lately?
I'm great. Like got married a couple months ago, so which really has changed my life in no meaningful way whatsoever. It's just the same thing in a good way.
Yeah.
And then just sports have completely consumed my life
Oh,
where
yeah.
yeah, it's in a way where it's pushed, more productive things that I can make money off of, out
Absolutely.
of my schedule and income sports, which are a money suck. So yeah, as we're recording this, Eagles are 6-0 on a bye week. Phillies are 1-1 with the Padres. There's soccer going on. There's
It's
hockey
like
going on. All the
jump
sports.
on it. Jump on it. Even if you've never
Jump
watched a
on it.
soccer game in your life, just tune
Hmm.
in right now. It's the
Yeah,
time. The energy is electric. Um,
exactly.
I love it. I'm happy for you because you've always been a huge Eagles, all the things you've done over the years with them.
Yeah, yeah. It's an addiction. It's
It's
it's it's not
it's a
healthy.
healthy, no, it's healthy. It's fine.
Okay.
As long as you're not addicted to fighting people in the stands. I mean, you could be.
I, my
Um
life expectancy I wouldn't see 36 if I was fighting people in this. Not one of my skill sets.
okay, okay.
Yeah, I've got a glass everything. Not just a glass jaw, a glass tibia, glass neck.
Glass knuckles. Like
Yeah, glass knuckles.
instead of brass knuckles, you're like you just explode.
Yeah, when I punch people, my fist breaks immediately upon. Yeah, people get injured from the shards of my hand when they hit people.
Yeah, for sure. So you
How have you been?
mentioned, oh, I'm great. I'm starting this podcast off with tons of technical difficulties at
Hell
first
yeah.
episode, and I didn't realize how easy it was. So I'm mad at myself this whole time. I've been sitting around laid off, and to be fair, recuperating from a kidney transplant.
Yeah, yeah. Be easy on yourself. Yeah, that's
Like,
that's a big one.
I,
Yeah, you weren't recuperating from a haircut. Like you had that's a pretty major surgery. So
life
yeah.
changing.
Hmm.
So and you had life changing. You just said you got married.
I did.
That's big thing. It's crazy. I feel like a lot of people anymore are so used to people just cohabitating and then like having kids randomly whenever they
Yeah.
accidentally feel like it, that when anybody gets married in the traditional way, like you or like Rachel and Seamus, like I
Hmm.
posted a picture of them at their wedding shower, which I've been to wedding showers in the past. They were called bridal showers,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
so I posted a picture and there was confetti and a cake, and like 9 people replied to me and 5 people replied to Seamus and Rachel, like, "Oh my God, is Rachel pregnant?" It's like, you all know us.
Yeah.
They would have announced it if she was. Like, it was 10
Right.
different people we know. It was
That's
silly.
funny. I like a wedding. We did a wedding shower too. I think, it's just the tradition, I think, in general sucks. And the idea of watching, I guess, like, I don't know much about this stuff because I, like you are, I'm a comedian. So it is news if one of us gets married because
It's on
so many of us, it's huge.
it's
Yeah,
epic. It's
yeah, it's
honestly
massive. It's funny. My wife, like all her friends are married, and so she's been to so many more weddings than I have. And then most of my friends are comedians, so it's like, oh, I've been to three, like, which is crazy because it's
yeah.
it's yeah, stunted personal growth. But no, I like a wedding shower. The idea of watching someone open fucking gifts at like a bridal shower just with women, it's like, what am I watching?
I
So
know. I never wanted to be the one in the chair. I hate that.
yes. Oh
That's
my God.
the worst embarrassing feeling in the whole world, to have to hold everything up and be like, oh,
Oh, thank you. A fucking
oh.
blender. Or we're
Yeah.
like, yes, forks, more forks.
Oh.
Um, it's such a bummer. Yeah, it's like we couldn't have added any creativity to this whatsoever. It's just and some packaging's hard to open. Like I have bad
You like need
motor
a
skill.
knife?
Yeah.
No, I have
Yeah.
like bad fingernail. Like I can't. Like I'll
Hmm.
break my fingernail off. So I get what you mean. You're like ripping at some Amazon box, and everyone's
Yeah.
sitting there like
You
waiting for
either
you to
looked in
open it,
exactly. You either look inept or like an animal, like trying like using your
ripping
teeth,
it.
trying to yeah,
Yeah, especially
exactly.
like if because the man would traditionally come in for like if it's a man and a
Yes.
woman wedding and like help with that part only because then they carry everything out to the car
Right.
and like have to do all the grunt work. But yeah, if you're like there to rip something for her while she's
Mm.
sitting there opening up a little gift bag and you just look like rah like going nuts.
Just eating the like wrapping
Oh
paper, or
yeah.
you just like have tape in between your teeth. Yeah, it's crazy.
All
It's
of her
crazy.
female friends and family are just judging you like, oh my
Yeah,
God.
that's what she's
Yeah,
marrying. this,
exactly.
this pig.
So funny. So you had your weird story is
Yeah,
related to your wedding,
it is.
honeymoon particularly.
Yes, and you are an excellent host. Well done. Excellent trans. And I will be giving notes throughout
I
this entire.
appreciate it. This is only
Yeah, of
episode
course.
2, so I don't even know if I said the episode number at the beginning. So there we go. That's how good
No,
I am.
people love it. People love a guest who comments on the thing that they're
Okay.
doing throughout and to
Yeah.
derail it. But yeah, so my weird thing, and it's such a good idea for a podcast in that it's so I think the breadth of it is so wide that like it was hard to pick a weird thing. And I think so this is the most recent, big part of my life other than sports success of teams that I'm not directly associated with, my marriage. And so we were lucky enough to go on a honeymoon right at the day after the wedding. And I was like a little hungover, didn't get much sleep. And then we flew to Portugal the next day. And I, in general, am not a good sleeper. Like
Same. Same.
it's crazy. Yeah. Like shutting your brain off. Can't do it. Um,
I can fall asleep sometimes, but then I'll wake up at like the pin drop.
really. Oh, so noises are like a
Hmm.
thing where have you ever used the sound machine? I almost
I
said an air machine. Have you,
no,
do you sleep apnea?
don't you hear me snoring right now? I use like rain sounds on YouTube.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good one. It's fun. So like you have a phone which can play any sound you'd like, but we stayed in a hotel years ago and they had a sound machine in the hotel. And
Okay.
it literally is the stupidest piece of technology where it just makes a noise. Like it's not a radio.
It's
It's
just
not,
I think I remember them like when they were in like those what do you call it? Like
it's
sharper
like a,
image catalogs or something back
yeah,
in the day.
yeah. I think it was maybe even before it looks like it's from like 1982.
Yeah,
And
it's like
I think
pre-computer.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's nothing electronic really about it other than the fact that you plug it in. And it's just a device where you just flip a switch and then it just makes a like
Yeah.
noise for the entire night. It's like we could just use our phones. I don't know why but we found that machine I think we traveled back in time, purchased it, and then
you
went back.
opened the door to Narnia in the closet and you're
Yeah.
like, hey, there's a sound machine in here.
That's so funny. You could do anything in the past. You can travel to any part of history, but you just choose like 1992 to go to a Radio Shack, get this dumb machine, and come back. It's like, what a fucking waste of this power. That's all I wanted, really. Like, I'm not going to kill Hitler. You know
You're
what I
like,
mean?
I bent the quantum dimensions to go get something that costs 19.99 in a
Right.
catalog.
You show up without the proper amount of money and you have to like go back to the future, like grab an extra $3, come back. It's like, wow, you really fucked up this whole thing.
Yeah.
um, but but terrible sleeper. And it's funny, like a plane does mimic the sound of a sound machine,
Mhm.
but you're sitting upright, like you can't, like people are fucking bumping into you, there's
I wake
people
up
are
a lot.
talking.
I
Yeah,
can
me
I can
too.
dip out like on a
Yeah,
plane real easy because of the
right.
sound. But
The
then
sound's great. And I guess if you're really tired, or if I'm really tired, I can kind of like half asleep, half
if you like took a
awake.
really early flight or some weird, I feel like situation sometimes where
Yeah.
you're just like dead tired anyway.
God, that would be if I could have a superpower. Speaking of time travel, it would like to be able to get on a plane, fall asleep, wake up at your location. And it's like you skip the whole flight. Ugh,
When I was
I
younger,
can't stop thinking about it.
yeah, we went to Europe with a drama club and when I was in high school and
Mhm.
I literally slept the entire flight to
Ugh,
Spain. but that
Superpower.
that was a superpower back then.
Yeah.
I don't have that one anymore. I got new ones instead.
That's good. Yeah, you had to make a trade.
Hmm.
That's fine. And I used to, so my wife and I did long distance for a year and a half. So she was in Philly, I was still living in LA. And at this age, I don't think I could do this shit anymore. But like, I mean, I was sick all the time because I would get done work in LA, hop on a red eye, get to Philly at like 5 o'clock in the morning, then like on a Saturday morning, then hang out with her until like Monday morning, hop on a flight at 5 a.m., get back to LA at like 9, go right to work. And she would do the same, like vice versa. And it was, and I couldn't sleep on planes. So I was always like so goddamn tired. And I would try to drink before, and it's like, oh, drinking's a depressant. Like maybe that will make me, but I would equate drinking with a good time, like, because you don't drink unless you're horrifically depressed to go to sleep.
True.
So I would be like, oh, I have a couple drinks and I'm like up and ready to go. And then I'm like hungover by the time I arrive to see like my long distance girlfriend. It just didn't make sense. Um, yeah, not a good idea. But so all that, you have all that information, was still going off the high of the wedding. Arrive in Portugal, did not sleep a fucking minute on the plane. So, and I didn't really sleep the previous night. So I'm nuts. Like I am out of my, like nothing I'm doing is making sense. Like, and then we had to drive somewhere like after we
As
got
soon as you
there.
got there, yeah.
And also I forgot about this part. So we're driving and then like I think you still drive on the right there. So like it wasn't like we went to England or anything where I accidentally veered into oncoming traffic or anything. But that's the weird thing. The weird thing is that I was in an accident that nearly killed us. So I
I
it was
disfigured her body horribly, but
yes,
love her
yes.
to
She
death.
she's stuffed behind me. I had her taxidermied.
Yeah,
Taxidermied. Yeah.
taxidermy.
And so like a truck in front of us, like a bunch of shit flew off of it. And instead of dodging it, I just slowly drove through like this and she was like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, I'm fucking wired. And we get to this beautiful place overlooking like the water and a beach and unreal gorgeous. And I couldn't enjoy. I think the weird thing is I'm a really fucking anal human being, and when I don't have control of a situation, like that's weird. And my mind, I just couldn't do my anal like fucking
Sure.
things, you know what I mean? And by that I mean organizationally, not
Control
butt stuff.
freak. Control. Well,
Yes,
both.
yes,
Both. It's
yes.
your honeymoon,
Uh,
baby. Let's
it's
go. I
it's my
mean,
honeymoon. I've never seen an object I wouldn't put up my ass, and I
get that noise machine in here. Come on.
yeah,
Let's
get that big cylinder here.
go.
So I use it as a chair,
We'll make
but
it work.
I so we get there and I couldn't control anything in my head because like time difference, wasn't asleep. So I started
Right.
like fiddling with everything in the room. And this is supposed to be a romantic experience where there's champagne and fucking
You're supposed to be
chocolates.
fiddling with someone's pussy right now.
Exactly. Or ass.
Or
And
both
so
at the same
both.
time.
What's the difference? And we'll talk more about that. I don't see a difference. So fun fact about me. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Hey,
so
progressive.
it is a sign of liberalism. And I just couldn't control anything. And I started looking at like my fingernails, which weren't long, but like I was like, this is one thing I can control. I must trim my fingernails right now. And in my head, I was like, this will turn the whole trip around if somehow
I'm
I can
fine
control.
immediately.
Yeah.
It's like,
I looked, and it's a freaky thing for your new wife to be looking out the window at the waves crashing on the beach and then turn around and her husband's just staring at his fingers.
neurotically.
Yeah, just like these motherfuckers. And so she goes, what is wrong with you? I'm like, I need to go find, because I didn't bring a fingernail clipper with me. That wasn't one of the items. So I started like feverishly like searching through the town, going into, not speaking Portuguese,
No.
searching for a way to clip my fingernails in a way as if I was looking for a defibrillator, like it wasn't like I'm
this
like
is life or death,
like,
people.
clip, like scissors to my
this
fingers.
island.
I can't believe I wasn't like just scooped up and thrown in an embassy, but I was. ended up not being able to find one. And I'm walking back to our like place that we were staying in, just full on fucking panic attack. And then I start rooting through my luggage, like throwing my clothes everywhere. Again, the beginning of our marriage, a romantic 2 weeks traveling for like
First
internationally with
day,
my
day one.
first day. First day one is mania. And then I found a fingernail clipper in my bag and just rushed into the bathroom. My poor fucking wife. And I just start clipping my fingernails. Came out the most peaceful person in the entire world. I don't know what it was. And again, they were like just like what I have now, like just, like not freak shit at all. It wasn't like, you ever see those Ripley's Believe It or Not? I almost said Calvin Ripley. Ripley's Believe It or Not, where those fucking people who like grow out their fingernails. Do you know what I'm talking
Yes.
about?
Yes, I
How
have.
what the
There was
fuck was that?
always that was like the old before Ripley's Believe It or Not, I
Yeah.
feel like it was like tabloids almost, where
Yes.
they would have like
Yes.
world's longest fingernails, like the black and white, like what were those called? I can't, like the Daily Sun or something.
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
don't know. My stepmom used to read those.
I'm with
Um,
you. No, I know exactly. They're when you would check out at a like an Acme or
yeah,
something, they would
supermarket
be,
in the
yeah.
thing. Now
And
it's
it's,
like People
oh, go ahead.
magazine is the tabloid now, but it's like
Exactly, which is, and it's funny too, where they would write things where it's like, how are you not being sued for libel for doing this? It's like, Princess Diana sucks off
the
a van in the
yeah,
middle of Morocco. It's like, what?
yeah.
Jesus.
Like while she's doing cocaine, like
Yeah, it's like, oh my God, how are you not? What is the
no wonder
legal?
they killed her. Like
Yes, she was too much fun, and and they did kill her. I think we accept that as fact.
yeah, but
But
Americans are like, yeah, look, we get it.
yeah, no, it's we were gonna do it. So yeah, it was one of the weirdest, like for me, and I know it's not like classic, like there's no ghost involved, but it was the juxtaposition of what you should be enjoying, what your attitude should be, and then the way like my not having any control over my mind whatsoever in those moments. And like that kind of kept popping up around the trip. I think it's weird for me to be taken out of my like world or my comfort zone or my space, where like we would be going on these beautiful drives and I'd be fucking flipping out at the car. It was just that we rented. It was just one of these things where it was a very weird, just your mental space completely being in the most inappropriate place possible compared to like where it should be, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I no, I do get that. You're like you were having like some kind of a almost like a synchronicity, I feel like a moment where your brain was like, if we don't do this right now, nothing's gonna work. This whole trip
Yes. Yes.
is gonna turn to hell
Mm-hmm.
immediately. And it's gonna fail. Our marriage is gonna fail. Your brain's probably spiraling. You probably start
Mm-hmm.
spiraling. If I don't do this right now, and I don't want to bite them and be like, have all jagged nails when I'm going to finger
Yes.
later.
Exactly.
It's our honeymoon. I don't want to give anybody a yeast infection, whatever. Do you think it's a kind of like a like when there's certain types of like warriors that have like the key, like the ponytail,
Oh
and then
yeah.
when they like cut it, it's like their energy, you like can't. So yours is like the opposite. You needed to like firmly and very anally
Mm-hmm.
for your, because we're not supposed to say OCD if we're not diagnosed.
There it is.
Very, very anally cutting your nails to a perfect like round. Do you think that gave you like some kind of weird stability control inside power that you like, instead of the opposite, where if you cut it off, the warrior, it's like, oh, they'll just die now, but you're like
Yes, yes. And this is not the first time I've been compared to a samurai. It actually happens constantly. And it's almost an inconvenience at this point.
you're
But
like, stop, no pictures, please.
yeah, please, Jesus. I'm the last one. Tom Cruise's movie was based off me when I was in elementary school, whenever the fuck that came out. But yeah, I think that was part of it, where I just, maybe that was like a symbolic of, I must leave. I'm leaving my previous life as an unmarried man. And in order to do that, I must circumcise my fingers in order to get them ready
Hey.
for this new part of life. But yeah, I think that was part of it. I think maybe it was a weird hand thing too, where I had never worn a ring before either. And before months ago, like months before our wedding, which was in like late July, my wife and I went to a whatever, like a ring center. That's not what it's called, but you know what I'm
You're
talking.
like, it's a
Yeah.
super center. It's just
It's
rings. It's just a giant
it
Walmart sized building with rings.
it seats 16,000 people, and it's located in Reading. But yeah, no, we went to this ring place, and they fitted the ring to my finger, and it was like, I guess, fit the way a ring should fit. But the day we got married, it was 99 degrees outside, and it was at night also, so it was really fucking hot, and the ring was tough to get onto my finger, and I was like, did I gain weight, a significant amount of finger weight before this wedding? And it was really, really tight. And that night, I think I was scared that it would get stuck on my finger because, you know, you hear those things of, oh, a guy he had to have his finger amputated because, you know, geez, I'm realizing on this podcast that I have some sort of weird obsession with fingers that I've never
That's what we're
ever
here to
given.
do. That's honestly what we're here to unpack for
I
people.
appreciate you. I appreciate, and I'm gonna Venmo you whatever your hourly rate is.
Standard, whatever you pay BetterHelp. It's fine.
I hear. Well, that's a lot of money. So,
Yeah, I had to quit. Nah.
so a discount promo code would be great. But
Sure.
so, and they are a sponsor of this podcast, and for that I
Yes,
apologize.
obviously.
But
It's fine. We get that in
uh,
later. We'll do
that
our
would be
ad
great.
reads later. I mean, hey,
Just
BetterHelp, hello.
drop it in right now, and better help Hello Fresh, and
Used
so
both.
yeah, right. There you go. And so I started actually, Jesus, this is weirder than I thought. So I started obsessing about the
Yes.
ring on my finger. And I guess like after, you know, we got back at like 3 a.m. or whatever, 4 a.m. And I was trying to get it off and woke up the next day with the biggest bruise on my knuckle. Like my knuckle was purple because I was like kept pulling the fucking ring off over and over again.
Oh.
So my and I was shocked because it definitely was like an appropriate fit when I first had it fitted. And then it got to the point where my wife like went and bought me a new ring, like so I could wear it on our honeymoon. It was like it's not gold or anything, but so it wasn't, you know, crazy expensive or anything. So
Okay.
I get the bigger ring. We get on the honeymoon. That ring is so fucking tight on my finger. And I'm like, am I just gaining massive amounts of weight just by the second, which is another issue of mine,
Like, am I
is a
bloating up
weight
right
obsession.
now?
Yeah, so what else? So I also have perfectly arched feet. So I started like freaking out about that. And I'm like, God, why is this so tight? And it turns out that heat, when you're hot, you swell up, which I
Sure.
think people know.
Okay.
But then you shouldn't swell up to the point where you have to go up ring sizes. And then when we went to Portugal, the main food that they eat there is like salted ham
Oh yeah.
and prosciutto and stuff. So that's all I'm eating for the first few days. So it's in the 90s, eating nonstop salt. So as soon as we went to an area where you don't eat that much and it was cooler, just the ring kept falling off my finger. So it was one of the weirdest. I think my hands were the problem.
I actually I like to wear rings, but I have a
Yeah.
weird thing like that where I think I notice the same thing and I can't tell at that point if I'm just having a panic attack and like can't get it off for a second, or it's like
Yeah.
literally like I feel my fingers swelling up from salt, us, you know, just like our
It's
God, we have so much
it's
salt
scary.
everywhere. It's like not to
It's
get
so
turn
hard.
into a health related story, but I feel like it's just like that could happen. You've seen that on TV where they have to go and like there are special ways like at the ring store they like can like trick your finger into getting back to the same size.
Huh.
Have you ever seen
They
people
tell
do
it a
that?
story.
I don't know what they kind of just like it's like one of those things where like if you don't relax, if you start to panic, if you're freaking out, it's almost like everything tenses up, I think,
Huh.
and then something like that I feel like, but like I've just seen videos of like people getting stuck rings off and it's like your finger doesn't actually change that much size. I feel like maybe
Yeah.
like point millimeters probably
A negligible like amount.
to
Yeah.
wear a ring size, but it'll just if it feels stuck for 1 second. Even like I was with someone trying on rings at like the beach, and
Hmm.
like we were just like trying on a bunch of rings, and I would like get one on and then get that panic for a second because I used to crack my knuckles. So my knuckles are bigger than the bottom of my finger. So
Right,
usually my
right.
rule is if I can get it past my knuckle, I'm okay. And then it's
Hmm.
loose on the bottom a little bit. But like once it gets, if it ever gets tight on the bottom, of course, if you're at the beach, you're also eating salty food. It's the same effect.
Of
And
course.
then you're hot. Like you said, I didn't know it could swell when it's hot. It was
Hmm.
89 degrees or something. So I'm like, oh no, I'm at the store. They're gonna have to get that little like vice grip or whatever they do, jaws of life for the finger out,
Yeah,
whatever the hell they
yeah.
do in this
That's
little
interesting too,
boardwalk
where
shop.
it was just at the Wildwood fucking,
Yeah.
like Claire's.
Yeah, it's just like
Um,
a 16-year-old kid in there from another country, like working the counter. And you're like, excuse me.
they're trying to get it off with a switchblade.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
they, and because you were saying too, like the vice grip thing. So this is like my ring's made of tungsten, which is like the hardest metal. So you can't cut it off. It has to be like put in a vice and then like shattered, basically, is how you have to do it.
Okay.
And I think I just kept imagining that being the issue of like, oh, and now I won't even be like, where do you find a vice? Well, I guess like, where do you find a ring cutting device also? You know what I mean? So it's a weird, I also always hear of men going to the firehouse, to get their rings cut off, where there's a thing where
Like like
like,
the
oh, you got to go
actual
to the
fire
firehouse.
station.
Yes, yes, yes. And in order, because they, I guess, have the tools to do it or
I
whatever.
was like,
But
firehouse subs, like go get a nice Sammy and sit down and have a meal, and then maybe you'll chill out and just be able to peel that ring off.
you can only get them cut off at a Jersey Mike's during regular business hours. But yeah, so weird. That's interesting that you have that fear, because also I think what made it even bit or more probably prominent in my mind is that Jimmy Fallon years ago got his ring stuck on something, and for like months he would do the Tonight Show with this massive, like almost a cast, like his finger looked like five fingers, which
Okay. I
apparently is
remember
the
that. I briefly remember
yeah,
that. I'm not a
it
huge
was
like watcher of the show, but I do remember seeing clips where he just like,
yeah, I remember seeing clips too where it was almost like a pop culture story of, this dude got his finger stuck in something, and he almost had to have it amputated apparently, which would be so okay. So if you had to have your finger amputated, what am I watching right now? I'm watching The Handmaid's Tale. I don't know if you've
okay.
seen
My
that, but
sister, my one sister watches it, but I have not.
it is such a bummer.
It is.
It's great show, such a bummer.
Let me put it at the
Um,
bottom of my list.
yeah. You know how like uplifting
You know how
everyday
you're
life is.
depressed and alone all the time? So wait till you check this
let's,
one out.
let's let's have a constant reminder of the plight of women. Let's add that. Let's close the day on
Thank
that.
God I'm
But
fixed.
so they one of the characters had their like finger cut off,
Okay.
and they had to put a what's it called, like a fake, like almost like a leather glove, like but just a finger kind of
Okay.
thing. And
Okay.
here's not to take over hosting duties, here's my question to you, Sonia, is why, like, if you were to lose a finger,
Yes.
would you get a prosthetic finger, where it seems like the
Oh,
finger, like legs of course, hands, I don't know if they
definitely.
figured out hands yet, but
Yeah,
like
I think they
fingers,
have hands.
I think they have hands too, you're right.
It's just really expensive to get like a robotic one that the fingers can move. You just get the
Yeah.
foam hand that looks like this all the time.
It's like, oh, geez.
Like,
you remember those Always Sunny episodes where I think it's Charlie's uncle is like definitely a pedophile and has these weird fake hands because he wants his hands to look bigger?
yeah. Oh
Oh,
yeah.
so funny.
Good old
But
Always
would
Sunny.
you
Would I get the
get,
finger strap on?
yeah, a
Yes, I
strap
would
on
get
finger?
as soon as you said leather, I went, that's a fancy finger strap on. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially I feel like yeah. Which finger? Does it matter?
It does matter. And that's a good thing. I was actually thinking that too, where a pinky, I think I might just be like, fuck it. Just
Okay.
fuck it.
All
I'll
right.
spend it on something else.
Okay.
But right, a thumb, I feel like you got to get a thumb, right? Because
Thumb
how else are you going
is
to
you
let people
can't
know that
do
you
a lot
enjoy
of
something?
things. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You can't have a great time, but like really
Right.
that's you would realize in 30 seconds how useful your thumb is.
Yes.
Like that's the
Yes.
only thing that separates us from most animals. Like I make fun of the dogs and the cats all the time. Like, aha, you idiots don't have thumbs. You
You
know?
do that. I have seen you do that. Yeah.
Except actually the one cat here does. She's a Hemingway cat. She has a thumb.
Whoa.
Yeah, she's just like me. Very not from this world. We're yeah, I would definitely get the strap on. I would probably get multiple ones. Like I have like 7 different pairs of glasses for different
Oh yeah.
outfits. I would
Yeah.
get like casual finger that just looks like skin. And then I would have
A
like
party
the
finger.
leather, yeah, party finger, a leather
Yeah.
one to go with like leather boots or a leather jacket.
Yeah.
Not vegan
That's
leather. Get me a real leather cow finger.
that would be funny to have PETA like throw blood just at your
My
index
hand.
finger. Yeah. um no, that is an underutilized, I feel like, or undersaturated market is the replaceable finger, of that would be fun. It's just the big foam finger is very funny. Like show up to a sports game and I am at sports games all the time.
You would
So
benefit. You would honestly, that would kill it if you had a screw on foam,
oh,
giant foam finger.
that would be amazing. Oh yeah, that's attachments to put on it
Yeah.
too would be cool.
Yeah.
Like one of the ones where those old like cap guns where it just like a flag comes out that says "pow."
You're constantly getting harassed in banks, like getting taken down. It's the Joker.
Oh shit, here he comes. It's like, no, I left the other fucking strap on at home. They're like, what are you talking about?
That's so funny.
That's
Oh
great.
my God. Yeah. All right. Listen, we are about a quarter before the hour. So we're just take a quick break and
Yes.
then get right back to it. We're gonna talk right back with Blake in 1 second. All right, we're back. And
Mm-hmm.
typically here we have switched sides. I like that my podcast does this when we come back from a break.
I love it.
So we were going to discuss your weird food. I ask all my guests to have a weird snack or a weird food combo or something that if you told me, I would go, oh, okay, let's see. What is this? What is this weird snack you like to have sometimes?
So this is weird. This is a little off the beaten path where it's not like, sea urchin biscuits or whatever, but it's so I love pizza so much. And I know that's like a basic thing to say, but I do just straight to the point where at night I Yelp, like I go on Yelp and go to various cities that I have never been to and never will go to and look at pictures of like their pizza.
Okay,
And
wait.
so maybe that's what we should have done the episode on, but I do look at like in all of my Instagram reel suggestions or whatever, like discover
Now.
thing is pizza. It's like square deep dish pizza in particular, like Detroit style. Like I'm obsessed with it. I just look at pizza videos, which is
Okay.
fucking crazy. So I love finding like, like on a road trip, for instance, like if I like have a road stand-up date, I will look on the path to see if there is a pizza place in a small town that I can stop by, grab a pie on the way to the destination, like even on a 12-hour drive. So I love small pizza places. That being said, since I was a kid, have been obsessed with Pizza Hut, but I would get the pizza with no cheese, just sauce on it, like extra sauce. So I would call and this was like since I was a kid, where to the point where I've stopped in there in suburban Pennsylvania, or I'm sorry, suburban Philadelphia, uh a decade later, and the guy was still working at that Pizza Hut and was like, you've grown up so much, which
Okay,
is such
that's
a
weird.
I don't like that one bit. Yeah, yeah. I'm like, you should see my fingers. And so I would the order would be I would like a pan pizza, large pan pizza, no cheese, extra sauce so it doesn't burn. So I would give them like cooking suggestions, and still we live in Philly, amazing pizza city. We'll still sometimes order Pizza Hut, no cheese, extra sauce. And I don't know, I think it's a combination of nostalgia
Okay.
and I just love the taste of it. It's crazy.
It's so
I
you
love the
invented
taste of
Pizza
it.
Hut tomato pie.
Exactly. Which it's funny. It's not even, it's not square. Like it's
It's
a
not square.
bastardized.
And like I
The
feel
whole
like if
thing's a bastard.
yeah, it's fast food pizza. I've always said like Domino's and pizza, like
Hmm.
people that aren't from here that move up here and they like want to get pizza sometimes they'll go order Domino's. And I go,
Yeah,
just pick any random bullshit spot where the guy looks like he didn't wash his hands,
exactly.
you
Then you know
know,
it's
and
good.
like then you know it's gonna taste good. But like I
Exactly.
feel like if you looked at the ingredients in like Pizza Hut's dough, it doesn't even say flour in there anymore. It's probably such
No.
chemical like amalgamation of just weird,
Yeah, there's like gunpowder in it, and like,
for
yeah, it's
sure,
definitely.
cyanide powder. Just like
Yeah. Just a small dose. Just a small
it's
dose.
not as much as in an apple seed. It's
Yeah.
fine. You'll make it.
You'll want to die, but it won't kill you if
It's
that makes sense.
definitely. Absolutely agree with that. Wait, so all right, so that's your weird snack is just a tomato pie Pizza Hut.
And they would, but it's funny. So I would order this in like other cities too.
Okay.
And like the tomato pie is a uniquely East Coast thing, you know, like I think Philly, New York has them, like, but even like I think it's more of a mid-Atlantic thing where Jersey, but like Boston, when I lived in Boston, they didn't have
They
them.
don't do
So
that, yeah.
you couldn't say, hey, I'll have a tomato pie from like these guys are working
From
like a
these
fucking
guys.
Pizza Hut. Like they're trying to make ends meet. And they're like,
Yeah.
I have to look up. Like, you want what, like a cheesecake? Is that what your tomato cheesecake? It was
It's something
such a,
sweet.
yeah. So I'd have to explain it. And they're like, are you allergic to cheese? I'm like, I love cheese, but this is just how I want it. You know, like I love toppings. I just wanted it like that. So yeah, that's
Okay.
the weird thing. I don't know what it is for some, and it's just Pizza Hut. Like, didn't do it with
Oh,
Domino's, Papa
no,
John's.
that
Like,
would, I feel like the Domino's one would just come out as diarrhea
yeah,
immediately.
yeah, yeah.
Like
It's just as it's just part of the cycle.
it
Yeah.
doesn't even digest. It just goes straight through and turns into like liquid on the way down.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna try it someday. You and I we're gonna try this
I would love that. We got
The
to do it.
Pizza Hut tomato pie, which sounds absolutely disgusting to be
It does.
honest. But I claim to be the least picky person alive. So we will. Your weird food. It's in my head. It's like rolling around in there, trying to like imagine what it might even taste
It
like or
doesn't make
feel
sense.
like. The mouth feel of like the sauce just with nothing on it. Because like a tomato pie, it's always that pillowy dough under there that I can at least tolerate.
Yeah.
Just
Not
sauce,
this.
not even Parmesan cheese on it. Sometimes, like most places. Now, when's
It's
the
a
last? Oh, you
like
go.
a greasy crust with which is somehow crispy but
Okay.
also wet.
Okay.
And then
Yes.
the sauce is also like not, it's not made out of tomatoes really. So it's
It's not.
almost like a paste that
Sure.
sticks to the roof of your mouth. It's
Sure.
great. It's great.
Sure.
You'd love it.
Sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're definitely gonna go order this pie up and film it and watch me gag over it.
I can't
Probably.
wait. Patreon. That's a Patreon thing.
That's my no. That is it's if it's in there in my email that I said
I
it.
love it. I love it. It's great.
So yeah, I can't wait to do some of those. My brother's bringing me a good camera to use, so I don't have to use my phone.
Perfect.
And yeah, so I can't wait to try that. Honestly, I'm excited to try all people's weird foods more than anything. It's
It's gonna
just
be
like a
awesome.
fun kind of opposite of diners, drive-ins, and dives. It's like a
Right?
this is disgusting, this is foul, and this is weird, but I'm gonna try it, and
I'd
you're
watch
gonna
that
make
show. That
me
sounds more
listen.
appealing.
But you don't have to sign up for my Patreon because you're gonna pay me for this. But
Hmm.
no.
Hmm.
Um. But I think I was gonna say, when was the last time you have done this?
I think it was maybe like 3 years ago. Like, I think was the last time. So I'm due. I'm definitely due
Okay.
for one
Perfect.
where,
Perfect.
yeah, I'm definitely due. So the time's coming.
Yeah. So don't order one up
I won't
between now and
spoil it.
then. Don't get any cravings for the Domino's tomato pie. Um, I think I might call this episode Domino's tomato pie now.
Oh my God,
um,
can you imagine?
I like that. All right, so I did pull up a weird news story for you here. I
Well,
am going to get it on the screen. We're going to do that. Let's see here. We're going to pick out some weird facts from it as we read along. I'm going to share my screen. Let's see here. Here we go. All right, there we go. The long, slightly strange
holy
history
shit, look what you did.
behind fingernail clipping. Everyone does it. Don't be embarrassed.
Okay, good.
Okay. Let's see here. We have It is a very hygienic practice. Around 1875, the first nail clipper was invented.
Interesting.
Actually, fun fact that is right around the same time the what's that birth control thing they put inside you that's made of copper?
Oh, IUD?
IUD was invented late
No
1800s.
way.
Did you know that?
That's great. That seems
Can
like
you
such a modern invention. That's
right?
wild.
So think about that now. The medieval torture us women, taking it back to women for 1 minute, had to endure to try to not have 10 million kids when there's typhoid and all this. We can barely feed them as
Yeah.
it is because you only have one cow. Um, yeah, 1875. So
Crazy.
how
That's
many
so interesting.
fingertips? How many fingertips you think they lost trying to invent that?
Yeah, what did they use before? Just like a sword,
Let's
like
see here. Both devices, there was two different kinds. There was something with silicone on it, but it was just old fashioned knives. It says,
not knives, old-fashioned knives.
yeah, it says it had more in common with peeling an apple than pressing a clamp.
Oh,
Doesn't that
fucking
sound
hell.
horrific?
Oh my, I'm like clenching right now.
I know.
That's crazy.
I know because I broke like a nail down to the quick the other day, and it's like
Oof.
still kind of like I couldn't. I had to like file the skin like on
Uh,
top. Oh, it was gross. Oh, they
uh,
didn't used to say trim or cut. It was called paring. Like you would cut a pear with a paring knife. Like just oh no, that's brutal.
God,
Oh,
people are
here we
so
here
gross.
we go. It looks like a straight razor for your face. There's a model of it. Looks like
I
some
see
kind of
that.
a straight razor where you shave your finger flesh off here, and then if you miss the end, you got to fire
God,
it
can you
down.
imagine?
Okay, so
Oh,
then
that kind
here's
of looks
the
like a more
that's the
figure
more modern
three.
one. That's the more
Yeah.
modern one, figure three. We don't know what this is. That
No.
looks like a torture device. Let's
Ugh.
see here. There was superstitions used to exist about how and when you should cut your nails. They were said you couldn't cut your fingernails on weekends out of fear it might lead to bad luck.
That I understand. Weekends are for fun. The
It says,
business.
yeah, if you cut on Friday, you are playing into the devil's hand. On Saturday, you're inviting disappointment. And on Sunday, you will have had bad luck all week. So,
Sunday is just a recovery day. Yeah, that's what the original
don't,
Sunday scaries were.
it's just never after Thursday. Do not cut your nails, is what this article is telling you here. Oh, the devil comes for you if you don't, or if you do, I don't know.
That
Um,
checks out.
yeah, let's see here. If there's anything else fun in here. No, I think that's about it. Here we go. Oh, here's a rotary turning nail clipper.
Oh my God. Just it's like 8 people have to operate it in
It's
order
someone has to stand 6 feet away from you and hold one end. And
to bring
then
the village in.
there's like a sight device here, like it's a freaking shotgun. Like you added a sight on. And I don't I oh look, it's like a tiny little nail clipper all the way at the end of this giant pole.
There's a lot of wasted space here
There's
on
a
this.
lot of extra parts,
Yeah,
really long clippers. It's
insane.
um let's see here. Oh, and
This was
there's a Going Electric, a crowdfunding site, has they've only raised $210 total, but someone tried to invent electric nail
let's
clippers.
double it. Let's double it
Let's
today.
go. Let's go. All right, Blake, this has been so fun.
It has.
It was great to have you here. What do you have anything going on you want to tell us about? Where can we find you?
At Blake Wexler on all social media, and then I'm headlining the Helium in Philadelphia on January 5th. So I believe those tickets are now on sale.
Awesome.
So yeah, this was
Awesome.
a blast. You're great, great host, great
Thank
hanging
you,
out,
Blake.
great person.
Yeah.
This was great. I would love to come back at some point.
Oh, definitely, absolutely. Come up with another weird story.
I
Honestly, email it
will.
to me anytime. I need guests. This is the only thing about doing a guest-based podcast is I have to have other people to talk to. If I sit here and talk to myself, that's pretty weird.
That's true.
But I like this. It's more fun. All right. We will see you soon. Take care, man.
Thanks. Bye, Sonia.
Bye.